The Way of No Mind, a Zen teaching on Mushin and effortless flow. Welcome, dear friend. Tonight, we journey together into one of Zen's most profound and liberating teachings. A teaching that has the power to transform your relationship with struggle, with effort, with the endless noise of thinking. This teaching is called Mushin, the Way of No Mind. In Japanese, mu means no or without, and shin means mind or heart-mind. But don't be mistaken, Mushin doesn't mean emptiness in the sense of absence. It means freedom. Freedom from the tyranny of overthinking. Freedom from the exhausting grip of mental commentary. Freedom to simply be, and in that being to flow. Take a deep breath with me now. Feel your body settling. Tonight, we will explore ancient Buddhist stories, practical wisdom, and the direct path to experiencing this state of effortless flow. Whether you're exhausted from trying too hard, caught in analysis paralysis, or simply seeking peace, this teaching is for you. Let us begin. Part 1. The Nature of Mushin, 2 to 8 o'clock. What is no mind? Imagine a perfectly still pond at dawn. When no wind disturbs it, the water reflects everything with perfect clarity. The trees, the sky, the mountains beyond. This is the natural state of mind. But then thoughts arise. Like stones thrown into water, each thought creates ripples. One thought leads to another, and soon the surface is so disturbed that nothing can be seen clearly. We lose touch with what simply is. Mushin is the return to that still water. But here's the paradox that confuses many seekers. You cannot force stillness. You cannot think your way to no mind. You cannot effort your way to effortlessness. The great Zen master Taekwondo Soho wrote, "The mind that is fixed on something is a sick mind. The mind that flows freely is healthy and whole." The exhaustion of constant thinking. Modern life demands constant mental engagement. We plan, analyze, judge, compare, worry, and strategize from morning until night. The thinking mind becomes like a muscle that never rests, constantly flexed, constantly tense. This is why you feel exhausted. Not because life is inherently exhausting, but because you've been carrying the weight of unnecessary mental effort. You've been pushing when you could be flowing. You've been forcing when you could be allowing. Mushin offers a different way. It whispers, what if you could act without the burden of deliberation? What if you could respond to life directly, immediately, perfectly, without the delay of anxious thinking? This isn't about becoming mindless or careless. Quite the opposite. It's about accessing a deeper intelligence that exists beneath the chattering surface mind. Story 1. The Zen Archer. There's an ancient story about a Zen master who was also a legendary archer. A young samurai, proud of his own archery skills, came to challenge him. The young man demonstrated his technique with great pride. He hit the bullseye again and again, his face showing intense concentration, his body rigid with effort. The old master said nothing. He simply picked up his bow, drew it back, and let the arrow fly, all in one fluid, unhurried motion. The arrow split the young man's arrow down the center. The samurai was amazed. "Master, how do you achieve such precision? What technique do you use?" The old master smiled gently. "I don't use technique. Technique uses me." Confused, the young man asked, "But how do you aim?" "I don't aim. The arrow knows where to go. My job is simply not to interfere." The young samurai spent the next 20 years studying with the master. And what did he learn? Not better technique, but how to get out of his own way. He learned that when the thinking mind steps aside, a deeper wisdom emerges. One that doesn't calculate but simply knows. This is Mushin in action. The archer becomes the arrow, becomes the target. There is no separation, no delay, no self-consciousness. Only flow. Story 2. The Zen Cook. In another ancient teaching, a student asked Master Dogen, "What is the most essential practice in Zen?" Instead of answering directly, Dogen took the student to the monastery kitchen. There, an old monk was preparing vegetables for the evening meal. His movements were continuous, flowing like water. He didn't pause to think between actions. Pick up the knife, cut, place aside. Each movement led naturally to the next. The student watched, growing impatient. "Master, I asked about Zen practice, not cooking." Dogen replied, "Look more carefully." The student watched again. Gradually, he began to see. The old cook wasn't thinking about cooking. He wasn't lost in thought about the past or future. He wasn't judging his work or comparing it to anything. He was simply, completely present. His mind and his hands were one. His awareness and his action were unified. This, Dogen said, is the most essential practice. When cutting vegetables, just cut vegetables. When walking, just walk. When breathing, just breathe. No division. No commentary. No second guessing. This is Mushin. This is freedom. The student bowed deeply, understanding blooming in his heart. Story 3. The Swordsman and the Tea Master. This story comes from feudal Japan, where the way of the sword and the way of tea were both considered paths to enlightenment. A famous swordsman was drinking tea at a tea house when he recognized the tea master as a man with no martial training. Wanting to test him, the swordsman challenged him to a duel. The tea master politely declined, explaining he knew nothing of swords. But the swordsman insisted, mocking him publicly until honor demanded a response. In desperation, the tea master went to a Zen master for advice. "I will die tomorrow," he said. "At least teach me how to die with dignity." The Zen master said, "Prepare tea for me one last time." The tea master, knowing it was his final ceremony, prepared the tea with complete presence. His hands moved with perfect grace. His attention was unwavering. No thought of tomorrow, no fear, no regret. Only this moment, this movement, this tea. When he finished, the Zen master smiled. That is how you face the swordsman. Approach him exactly as you approached this tea ceremony, with no thought of winning or losing, living or dying, with complete presence and no mind. The next day, the tea master faced the swordsman. He held his sword as he would hold a tea whisk, with calm, centered presence. His eyes showed no fear, no aggression, no calculation. Only complete awareness. The swordsman looked into those eyes and saw something that shook him. He saw someone who had already died, who had let go of all attachment to outcome. There was nothing to fight against, no ego to defeat. The swordsman bowed, apologized, and walked away. The duel never happened. This is the power of Mushin. When the thinking mind releases its grip, when effort dissolves into presence, even violence cannot find purchase. The paradox of effort. Now we must address the great paradox that traps so many seekers. You hear about Mushin, about effortless flow, and immediately the thinking mind says, "Yes, I want that. How do I achieve it?" But do you see? Already you've missed it. The very act of trying to achieve Mushin pushes it away. It's like trying to fall asleep. The more you try, the more awake you become. Sleep comes only when you stop trying. Or like trying to remember a forgotten name. The harder you grasp for it, the more elusive it becomes. Only when you relax and let go does it suddenly appear. Mushin is the same. It cannot be grasped, only allowed. The two minds. Zen teachings often speak of two aspects of mind. The discriminating mind, Japanese, Shinshin. This is the thinking, analyzing, judging mind. It divides the world into categories. good/bad, right/wrong, success/failure. This mind is useful for certain tasks, but it cannot rest. It churns constantly, creating suffering through comparison and judgment. The original mind, Japanese, Mushin. This is the mind before thinking, the awareness that exists prior to all conceptualization. It is pure presence, pure responsiveness. It doesn't think about life. It simply lives. Mushin is the experience of original mind flowing freely, unobstructed by the discriminating mind. You already have this. You don't need to acquire it or achieve it. You only need to stop blocking it. Where are you already experiencing Mushin? Think about moments in your life when you've been in flow. Perhaps when playing music, when your fingers moved across the instrument without conscious thought. Perhaps in sports when you were in the zone, and everything just happened. Perhaps in conversation with a dear friend, when words flowed naturally without rehearsal or self-consciousness. Perhaps in creative work, when hours passed like minutes and you forgot yourself completely. In these moments, the thinking mind stepped aside. Effort dissolved. You became the activity itself. There was no separation between you and what you were doing. This is Mushin. You've already tasted it. The teaching is simply about recognizing it, honoring it, and allowing it to flower more fully in your life. Not forcing, but inviting. So if we cannot force Mushin, how do we approach it? The answer lies in creating conditions where it can naturally arise. Like a gardener who cannot force a seed to grow but can prepare the soil, water it, and provide sunlight, we can create the conditions for no mind to emerge. Practice 1. Breath without commentary. Right now, become aware of your breathing. Don't change it. Don't improve it. Don't judge it as too shallow or too fast. Simply notice it. Breath coming in. Breath going out. Now notice. Can you breathe without thinking about breathing? Can you let the breath breathe itself? The body already knows how to breathe. It's been breathing perfectly since you were born, without any instruction from your thinking mind. When you sleep, you breathe. When you're absorbed in activity, you breathe. The breath is already happening in a state of Mushin. Let yourself rest in this. Breathing without a breather. Just breath, happening. This is the doorway. This is the practice. Practice 2. Simple action, full presence. Choose a simple daily activity. Washing dishes, walking, brushing your teeth. Instead of doing it while lost in thought, give it your complete attention. Not intense concentration that creates tension, but relaxed awareness. If you're washing a dish, feel the temperature of the water. Notice the texture of the soap. Hear the sound of water flowing. See the light reflecting off the bubbles. When thoughts arise, and they will, don't fight them. Simply return attention to the direct sensory experience of what you're doing. Over time, you'll notice something remarkable. The activity begins to do itself. Your hands move with intelligence, finding the most efficient path. Time changes quality. Effort gives way to ease. This is Mushin blooming in ordinary life. Practice 3. The pause between thoughts. Here's a secret. Thoughts are not continuous. There are gaps. Spaces of silence between one thought and the next. Most people never notice these gaps because they're so conditioned to follow thought trains without pause. But the gaps are there. In meditation, or in any quiet moment, pay attention. Watch thoughts arise and fall away. And in the space between, before the next thought forms, there it is. Pure awareness. No mind. The still pond. Don't try to widen the gap. Don't try to create more space. Simply notice the space that's already there. The recognition itself is enough. It's like opening your eyes to something that was always present. The great relaxation. Ultimately, Mushin is about profound relaxation. Not the relaxation of laziness, but the relaxation of trust. Trust that life knows what it's doing. Trust that your body knows how to breathe, how to walk, how to heal. Trust that beneath the surface noise of thinking, there is a deeper intelligence guiding you. The thinking mind exhausts you because it believes everything depends on its constant vigilance, its endless planning and worrying. It's like a nervous parent who won't let the child take a single step without hovering anxiously. Mushin is the courage to take your hand off the controls and discover that the plane flies beautifully on its own. Integration. As we come to the end of our time together tonight, understand this. Mushin is not something you achieve once and then possess forever. It's a way of being that you return to again and again. Some days, the thinking mind will be strong, churning with worry and plans. This is okay. You don't need to fight it. Simply recognize it, and when you're ready, gently return to presence. Return to breath. Return to the direct experience of this moment. Other days, you'll find yourself flowing effortlessly, moving through life with grace and ease, amazed at how things unfold without force. These are gifts. Receive them with gratitude. The path of Mushin is a path of gentleness with yourself. It's not about perfection or some ideal state. It's about coming home to the natural ease that exists when you stop fighting reality. Final words. The old Zen masters left us these teachings not as theories to study, but as living wisdom to embody. They discovered through direct experience that peace comes not from controlling life, but from releasing the need to control. They discovered that true power emerges not from effort, but from alignment with what is. They discovered that the exhausted, struggling self you've been carrying is not your true nature. It's just a pattern of resistance you've learned. And what is learned can be unlearned. Tonight, as you rest, let your mind rest too. Let thoughts come and go like clouds passing through sky. Don't cling to them. Don't push them away. Simply let them be, and discover the spacious awareness that remains when you stop identifying with every passing thought. This is Mushin. This is freedom. This is your birthright. May you flow like water. May you rest in effortless presence. May you discover the peace that exists beyond all striving. Thank you for walking this path with me tonight. Until we meet again. If you'd like, remain here for a few minutes of silent presence. Let your eyes gently close. Feel the weight of your body supported by what's beneath you. Notice the breath breathing itself. No need to do anything. No need to become anything. Simply rest in the awareness that is already present. The still pond reflecting all things. The space in which all experience arises and falls. This is what you are beneath the thinking mind. This is what you've always been. Rest here. Silent meditation for 3 to 5 minutes. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Carry this stillness with you. Let it infuse your actions. This is the way of no mind.